The 2007 Indy Japan 300 was an IndyCar Series motor race held on April 21, 2007, at the Twin Ring Motegi in Motegi, Tochigi, Japan. It was the third race of the 2007 IndyCar Series season, the fifth annual edition of the Indy Japan 300 in the IndyCar Series, and the 10th anniversary running of the race schedule. Andretti Green Racing driver Tony Kanaan won the race with a 0.4828-second margin of victory over Chip Ganassi Racing's Dan Wheldon. Dario Franchitti, Scott Dixon, and Sam Hornish Jr. rounded out the top five. Copyright Hélio Castroneves, the defending champion of the Indy Japan 300, won the pole position by posting the fastest lap in qualifying. In the race, Wheldon gained the lead from Castroneves on lap 44, and led for more than half of the 200 laps, but a pit stop with 14 laps remaining forced him to relinquish the top position. Kanaan took the lead, because of a late pit stop by Dixon, and held off a late challenge by Wheldon to secure first place. There were 4 cautions and 9 lead changes among 5 different drivers during the race. It was Kanaan's first win of the season, and the 8th of his career. The result moved Wheldon into the lead of the Drivers' Championship, 3 points ahead of Kanaan. Dixon, who led the championship before the race, dropped to third. The Indy Japan 300 was confirmed as a part of the Indy Racing League's 2007 schedule for the IndyCar Series in September 2006. It was to be the 5th consecutive year the race was held in the series, and the 10th Indy Japan 300, counting the period from 1998 to 2002, when it was a kart event. Uniquely in the 2007 season, the race took place at non-American location. The Indy Japan 300 was the third race scheduled for 2007 by the O, out of 17. At this early stage in the season, Dixon held the lead in the point standings with 80 points. Castroneves and Wheldon were tied for second with 75 points, and Kanaan and Hornish Jr. were fourth and fifth on 65 and 61 points, respectively. 2 days before the race, on April the 19th, a pair of 2-hour practice sessions were held at the Twin Ring Motegi. The races were split into 2 groups, which were each allowed to run laps for 1 hour per session. The first practice session began at 10:30 a.m. Japan Standard Time. 5 minutes later, a yellow caution flag came out due to a crash by Vitamira, who was forced into a backup car when he returned later in the day. A second caution flag was shown at noon local time to allow for an inspection of the track. 30 minutes later, the session came to an end. From 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. JST, the second practice session of the day took place. Danica Patrick posted the fastest lap of the day, going around the circuit in 26.9585 seconds in an average speed of 202.979 miles per hour. Japanese driver Kosuke Matsuura, who called the Indy Japan 300 his most important race of the season, had the second fastest lap time of the day, followed by Castroneves, Kanaan, and Wheldon. Before qualifying took place on April the 20th, there was a third round of practice from 10:30 a.m. to 12:05 p.m. JST. The drivers were each allowed 45 minutes of track time. 2 caution flags came out. The first came half an hour into the session, when Jeffsman spun out coming off the track's 4th turn. The other caution was a track inspection, which came 18 minutes into the second group's allotted time. Kanaan had the best lap of the session. His average speed of 204.465 miles per hour topped Patrick's leading mark from the previous day. An hour and 25 minutes after the last practice session ended, the 18 drivers determined the starting grid through qualifying. Each driver ran 2 laps, and the slowest time was thrown out. Castroneves, the winner of the 2006 Indy Japan 300, gained pole position with a lap time of 26.6416 seconds. It was the second consecutive year he qualified first. 2-time race winner Wheldon earned the other front row starting position. His lap was 0.0328 seconds slower than Castroneves. Kanaan and Patrick qualified third and fourth, respectively. They were followed by Hornish Jr. and Dixon, who would start in the third row. Dario Franchitti and Thomas Scheckter qualified in the fourth row, while Matsuura and Marco Andretti rounded out the top 10. The difference between the first and 10th best lap times was less than 0.3 of a second.